Good morning and welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. Title of today's talk is The Zen of Popeye the Sailor Man. I grew up on Popeye. Popeye and Mickey Mouse were the first cartoons. And it's just been, of course, I came back and revisited Popeye because somebody was writing about it on Facebook, and I commented on it and looked up when it started, and that brought back memories of those early cartoons when TV first came out. The first TV I saw was in 1950, and I don't think we even got a TV until in the mid-50s. And Mickey Mouse and Popeye were the cartoons because they were back in the silent. They went back. They were already on film. They were, the early cartoons. So they just put them on TV because TV would put anything on, Anyway, who is Popeye? Why? And so there's Popeye, and there's Olive Oil, and there's Bluto, who was always trying to get olive oil and tying Popeye up in knots until he gets magically a can of spinach, and he eats that spinach and he breaks the bonds, and he just wipes out Bluto with superhuman strength. He just wipes him up, and he and Olive Oil go off into the sunset. That's the theme of it, And what's the zen of it? Well, the zen of it, for me, the zen of anything is when all the dots suddenly connect. The zen of it is kind of like an integrating awareness or understanding that connects all the dots. So what are the dots that I'm connecting here? Well, when I first got into yoga in 1970, I was introduced to Hinduism and the epics of Hindu, of India. And the epics was the Mahabharata, which contained the Bhagavad Gita, which is the little Bible of yoga, and the epic of Ramayana, the great Indian epic of Rama, Sita, Ravana, and Hanuman. And the story was that Ravana had hundreds of heads, which is kind of like the metaphor for the sense of self, for the ego, captures Sita, which is like the soul, and takes her to the island of Ceylon. And Rama, who is an incarnation of God, an avatar, must save her. But he can't find her, so he enlists the power of Hanuman, the king of the jungle, the king of monkeys, who represents faith. And Hanuman, through superhuman powers and the enlisting of all the monkeys, finds Sita, creates a bridge, and Rama is able to get to the island and defeat Ravana and restore the world to balance, you see. That's Popeye. So Bruno, or Ravana, is always capturing Olive Oil and holding her hostage, and Popeye goes to save her, but he doesn't have, his human strength he's tied up in knots, he can't do it. But he finds somehow, even though he's tied up, somehow he finds a can of spinach, and he pops that can of spinach and gulps the spinach down, and suddenly he's a Hulk. It breaks the bonds and just starts wiping Ravana up, you see. So spinach is Hanuman, and Olive Oil is Sita, and Popeye is Rama. Same story. But if those of you who follow Ram Dass and that whole tradition of yoga, they're all singing chants to Hanuman. Hanuman is like, it's a deity, and Rama and Sita, And that's a mantra, Rama Sita, Rama Sita, Rama Sita, and chants to Hanuman, to Hanuman, to Hanuman, and on and on and on and on. You could do it to Popeye, just have a chant to Popeye, and Popeye and olive oil and a can of spinach. So anyway, what I'm looking, so the Zen of it is not just connecting dots and stories. The Zen of it is to find the spinach in your life. And the Zen of it is to see when you're held hostage by Bluto. And so who is Bluto? Who is Bluto but our ego, our sense of self, who, when things go wrong, gets trapped in a double bind where nothing you can do is any good. So you have to inhabit. So in other words, we look at these stories like there's Popeye, and there's olive oil, and there's Bluto, and there's the spinach, you see, or there's Rama and Sita and Ravana and Hanuman. But to penetrate the story, get to the Zen of it, to penetrate it, you have to inhabit all the characters in the story. You have to be Popeye, you have to be Rama, you have to be Sita, you have to be olive oil, you have to be Ravana, you have to be Bluto, and you have to be Hanuman or the can of spinach. You got to be all of them because they're all one. And yet the story draws them out, you see, into a drama. You go to a play and you see the plot and you see the stages of it, and it's all drawn out in time, and you have a problem at the beginning and you have a resolution at the end. But it takes time. Maybe it's an hour. You go to a movie, maybe it's 2 hours before you get from the problem to the end, you see. But the truth of it is seen or grasped at once. You analyze it, you go see a critic, or you think of the movie from the viewpoint of the audience, and you analyze it and you break it into parts and you try and figure it out. But that isn't what the truth of the movie is. The truth comes all at once. Bam! I see. You see a whole. We don't see parts. Knowing, unless it's analysis. Analysis breaks down the whole into parts, but we're not thinking about analysis here. We're talking about seeing or penetrating the Dharma gate. Penetrating the mystery. Penetrating the drama to its essence, to its wholeness. And that wholeness, or that seed of oneness, can only come to you as if from the outside. Suddenly you just, I just see it. Or you go to sleep and you wake up and you know. Or you've lost your keys and then you know you just know what to do, but you're not quite sure. Anyway, I keep digressing here, but the point is, the whole comes full blown as a gestalt. As an idea that is luminous. It's an idea, and that idea contains the knowing of all the parts. So all the parts fit together in that luminous idea, but you can't find the luminous idea by analyzing the story. You can analyze it and play with it and mess around with it, but it's only until you drop it and go play golf that you suddenly see. So the seeing, the knowing, always comes as if from outside of the mind, like a can of spinach. So the can of spinach, you see, is a metaphor for the healing or unifying idea that puts all the pieces together in one gestalt. And that's awesome. That's wonder. That's I know, I see. I've been to the mountaintop of Martin Luther King. That's the resurrection of Jesus. It's in all the stories. First you got the fragmentation, you got the suffering, and then you got the Savior or the healing that comes in and restores your life or the world to balance and peace, you see, where you and olive oil can go off into the sunset together, you see. So what is this spinach? What is this can of spinach? I'll show you my can of spinach. It's Prince Albert in a can. It's empty. Paid $6 for this on eBay. But my teacher, who has really helped me see the gestalt in my own mind, to integrate all of the fragments of myself, was Albert Lowe. And so here he is, Prince Albert in the can. So when I get in a fix, when I don't know, when I'm confused, or when I'm in a double bind where you lose, and you're in a negative state of mind, you got worry, you got the anxiety, you got the fear, you got the self-doubt. Oh, that's worse than anything. Oh, I'm no good. I doubt what I'm doing. All these negativities are Bruno. Put you in a bind, put you in a double bind where you can't get out. Ravana, 1,000 heads of this negative mental states, you see. Ravana, Bruno, they put us in a fix where we can't get out. So nothing, our little muscles, our little ordinary ego self can't get out. So somehow we open up the can of spinach. Now, what is the can of spinach in Zen, or in Zen, particularly the Mahayana Zen or the Prajna Paramitra Zen? The spinach of Zen is Prajna, which is the aroused mind that does not rest on anything. Doesn't rest on belief, doesn't rest on mental states, doesn't rest on intuition. This aroused mind is a creative mind that comes from nowhere and just breaks the bonds of the situation. It just breaks the prison of conditioning. It just breaks out of the egoic fix that you're helpless, that you're a victim. It just breaks through the mental constructs that is our habit, you see. It breaks through habit. It breaks through conditioning. It breaks through culture. It breaks through the whole fabric of the world that we have take for granted and just believe without questioning, you see. So when we come to a situation where Bruno is tied us in knots, we call for the can of spinach. Now, for me, the call for the can of spinach is the mantra. Gati, gati, paragati, parasam gati, bodhi svaha. That's my can of spinach. What does this can of spinach mean? Gate means gone. It's gone. It's evaporated. Gate, gone. Again, evaporated. All the mental ties, the beliefs, the fixations, the conditions, the doubts, the negativities, gone. And paragate, gone beyond. Whoa, it's even gone beyond the names I give it. It's even gone beyond my language. And then parasam gati, bam! That's the explosion of prajna, or the spinach, or the mind that doesn't rest on any conditioning. And then bodhisvaha means, oh, what an awakening. So gati, gati, paragati, parasam gati, bodhisvaha. You chant that when you're in a fix and direct it right at the fix. That's your can of spinach. Thanks for dropping in.